The Big Ten has descended upon Vegas, and apparently Tony Petitti has descended on the NCAA. We will clear that one up. Appreciate you being here at the Voice of College Football. Ohio State Buckeyes live. And we've got the three that count here. We got Steve Hellwagon right next to me. Bucknuts 247 Sports. Kevin Noon below Steve there. Big Me Podcast, also BuckeyeHuddle.com, as well as Tony Gerdeman, Buckeye Huddle. Buckeye Weekly is the podcast to catch Tony and Kevin. Appreciate you guys being here. And let's get into it. And Steve, of course, we got to start with you because you're in Sin City.
Yes.
And arrived just recently here.
Yes. There you go. Clears up a little bit. That's the pool area at Mandalay Bay here in Las Vegas. The site of the Big Ten meetings the next 3 days, 6 teams a day over 3 days. Can we go for a fourth day? Can we add 7 more teams and go for a fourth day? Very conspicuous by its absence as I arrive here. There is not one banner, not one sign that says welcome to Las Vegas Big Ten Conference or anything like that. When you go to Chicago or Indianapolis for these things, the lobbies of all the places are completely decked out in all the Big Ten paraphernalia. But we are such small potatoes here in Las Vegas that we don't even get one of those goofy lamps that spits out the logo on the wall or anything like that. So it's kind of a big yawn here in Las Vegas right now.
Well, you can give them 15 or 20 hours, right, Steve, to get that arranged.
Yeah. And I want to say I was up and at 'em at 3:30 a.m. this morning to catch a flight out of Columbus to Denver, and I had a 5-minute layover. It felt like Denver to Las Vegas. Thankfully, my bag did arrive, so all good. I'm in Vegas, and I know some of my compadres are coming out later today, so there you go.
Yeah, we're flying later this evening, so we will be there by tonight. The Big Ten Conference, media days is all well and good, but we're talking about a city that hosts Consumer Electronics Show, the North American Auto Show, the Adult Video News Awards. I mean, all sorts of things. The Big Ten, the Big Ten, football media days is small potatoes. We're all the way at the south end of the strip. Not even, this isn't even at like the Wynn or the Fontainebleau or anything like that. So, maybe we'll get a key card that has something on it, like a Big Ten logo on it. But just be happy to be here. And no, we don't need to make this a 4-day extravaganza. The SEC does 4x4 for its 16 teams. I mean, I guess theoretically, if the Big Ten were to go up from 18 to 20, it could be 4x5, but that's just entirely too long.
6x3, 6 days, 3 teams a day. Perfect. The
18
rooms
by 1.
I've never been to Las Vegas, so I'm looking forward to staying inside as much as possible and still seeing somewhat of the stuff that's out there.
The Uber driver said that we got lucky because it was 112 over the weekend, and it's not supposed to get out of the 90s here for the next several days, so we're not even going to hit 100. I'm already down 40 at the roulette table. I've got $20 in chips. I started with 60, so didn't have any of my numbers hit, and not happy about that development, but we'll get back in there here in a little bit.
The last time I went to Vegas, I was down about 400 after about an hour or two, and I was like telling my buddy, I'm like, we're here for 5 days. We got to slow this train
tap
down
the brakes.
here.
Yeah, tap the brakes.
Fortunately, I turned it around after that and came out
entirely too long to be in Vegas.
Yeah, we
like 2 nights max.
His wife certainly thought the 5 days was too much because she thought we were headed out for 2 or 3, but we just kept kind of extending the flights in each direction as we were looking at them.
Yeah, I think Thursday. We're looking more toward Thursday.
All right. Where do we go next here? I don't know that anybody wants us to speculate on what questions should be asked or we're going to have 4 days of that. We might as well just dive into this Michigan business. So Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti has put in a good word for the maize and blue. So this was revealed by Dan Wetzel of ESPN earlier today. He has advocated for the program, believes that enough is enough in regards to the number of penalties that have already been unleashed on the program. And so sent a letter to the NCAA Committee on Infractions, arguing that Michigan deserves no further punishment in a case focusing on the actions of course, Connor Stallions. And this letter was read at the June Infractions Committee hearing in Indianapolis. So I believe Kevin wants to tear into this one.
Oh Lord, I don't want to go after all the red meat. I want to leave some for my friends here. But you know, I think that at some points you're trying to fly through the eye of a needle here. How do you keep your other 17 member institutions happy, and then how do you don't want to sit there and go scorched earth on Michigan, but oh wait, the Big Ten went to the unique steps to suspend Jim Harbaugh for half a day a week for 3 weeks earlier in the process when they put through their own suspension. Now, the reason I say half a day was he wasn't allowed to coach the team. That was it. He could game plan. He could do everything else. He could probably have team meal with him afterwards. He just couldn't be on the sidelines at that point. So, I think that there's a point of where the commissioner is going to come out and he's going to give mixed messages. There was something too that I saw on Twitter, and I didn't have a chance to really check the accuracy of this, that Jim Delaney came out and was supportive of Jim Tressel during the whole tattoos for merch, that whole situation that ultimately led to his downfall. I'm not looking at this as in like that he came in as some sort of special witness for Michigan, for the defendants, and that this is really going to have much bearing, because ultimately the NC2A doesn't like to be lied to and jerked around and everything else, and that's all Michigan has done at this point. So they could bring Pope Leo the 14th, good Chicago native and everything else into the Council on Infractions, and I still don't think it's going to change anything.
Go ahead, Steve.
Well, I think it was kind of absurd when I first heard about it that he would weigh in at the 11th hour here and say, okay, they've been raked over the coals publicly for 2 years. That's enough. And you referenced the tattoo gate thing right there out of the box. Ohio State in 2012 was not eligible for postseason play or the bowl championship series championship game or any of that. They went undefeated. They would have played for the national championship that season. So if you break the rules, there need to be consequences. And I think that's the overriding thing. I think it was a formality. He did not attend the committee hearing, which commissioners a lot of times will attend those hearings, with the college and their representatives to try and put a positive spin on it, either with the committee or with the media. So I look at it more that he was doing his job, I guess, as the commissioner, more than he was advocating not that, his opinion should matter one iota to the committee. If a rule's broken, they're the umpire. They've either got to call ball or strike. And I think the rest of the Big Ten's waiting on him to call strike 3, rather.
I think there are a couple things to also keep in mind that when we talk about this case, Dan Wetzel, it would appear, gets generally his information from the Michigan side of things. And so he's going to get the best picture painted of what that letter is and what it says and what it means to say. And so I think that's something to keep in mind, that that may be one aspect of the letter. But as somebody on our message board posted, I think Kevin even posted this as well, when you're talking about further punishment, are you talking about punishment for the future, or like you don't want to see anything happen to the current team, but whatever happens in the past, you can go ahead and deal with. Is that an argument that maybe that letter is just about future and present rather than whatever you need to do in the past, go ahead and do it? Like, to be so adamant that for Tony Petitti to be so adamant that Jim Harbaugh needs to be dealt with, so Michigan needs to be dealt with. That was a Michigan punishment. They just had to punish somebody, so they punished Jim Harbaugh with that 3-game suspension. And then to think like, well, okay, now we're done. That's all we need to do. That's quite a jump for one person to be like, I need to do something now. This is what I'm going to do. And then after the fact to be like, yeah, that was enough. I think we've got it. So I'll be interested to see what that letter says. We won't see what we may see what that letter says, but of course your commissioner is also going to advocate for the teams in his conference. That's kind of his job. But like anytime you send a letter to somebody where you're like, I hope this letter finds you well, how often do you actually mean that? So I think there's some of that with this letter as well, where it's an obligation. But I'm also sure, I would also believe that he doesn't necessarily want to see Michigan's postseason taken away. Doesn't want to see them punished in a major way. Now, what I'd like to know, and I'm probably going to be asking some of the Big Ten coaches, is would you be okay with that? Now, the problem with asking is that we have no idea if they're going to want to talk. Most coaches aren't going to want to talk about it. Brett Bielema would probably talk about it, so that's one guy that to go after. But asking Big Ten coaches, do you agree with Tony Petitti, the letter that he sent, that nothing further needs to happen to Michigan? Because, I mean, again, they're already on probation. They'll get probation tacked on for this. We know that. So, like, is that enough in their eyes?
So I'm thinking,
Oh.
we're here in late July. The NCAA has yet to unveil its findings and has not completed the investigation. Roughly 6 weeks ago, Tony Petitti is giving the infractions committee a letter. Unless he is privy to their findings and their research, which they have yet to unveil here 6 weeks later, then why does he have a leg to stand on to say that you have, penalized them enough? We don't know what the final verdict is going to be. We don't know what the final conclusion is going to be to all this investigation.
I think the thing there is Michigan knows what they're being accused of, and so does Tony Petitti. And you also know what those accusations generally lead up to in terms of what those punishments bring, because the NCAA has presented Michigan with their findings, and now this is Michigan arguing. The Committee on Infractions is Michigan arguing those findings, and then now you've got the time where the NCAA is like mulling things over, and Tony Petitti is just basically testifying, in a sense, the way this article is presented on Michigan's behalf in the form of a letter. But yeah, I think everybody understands what the likely penalties are right now. And so for Tony Petitti to say, hey, you don't need to do any further penalties, is that because he knows there are none coming, or because he knows there are?
I mean, why does he need to write the letter if he knows that there are none coming? I think it's more of a defensive.
To look right?
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, this television deal's got a couple years left on it, and they're probably trying to sit there and posture and take care of dollar figures and everything else. And while it's not necessarily a matter of filling bowl slots or anything like that, as we were kind of in our little pre-show meeting, we're talking about somebody bringing up. I mean, there's still a lot of financial irons in the fire here, but it's the same as when you go to court or whatever, and your mom comes in and reads an impact letter of, he was a good boy, he went to church every morning and he was good and he's learned his lesson. The judge may or may not consider that, but I tend to think that this is not going to be a very sympathetic court. And while Michigan will probably end up suing, because that's they've gone down the kicking and screaming hole the whole way on this. I don't know. I'm really disappointed we're only getting the 30-minute window with Petitti at the beginning of things tomorrow, when we know that 24 minutes of it are going to be filled with the most inane, stupid national questions from non-outlets in the world, and I should just not come down for that half hour because I'm just going to get angry.
Yeah, you're going to get really angry, I think, watching that play out. I think it was telling that he didn't attend it in person. And I think that there's been a lot of animosity for 2 years since he did take those steps against Michigan as a rookie commissioner way back 2 years ago. And I think the letter could be his way of trying to mend a fence. It's kind of like Archie Bunker, back in the old days, no, Tony, we don't want you to come to Indianapolis and speak on our behalf. Don't do us any favors, that type of thing. We're good without you on this one. So he just sent a letter. So there you go. I'm trying to keep an open mind about this, but he's going to get grilled about it. I think that's what's going to happen tomorrow.
Appreciate you being here at the Voice of College Football. Typically, we get together to talk Ohio State football Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Of course, Big Ten Media Days. These three will be in Vegas this week. Steve's already made his way to Vegas, and Ryan Dawes, in the spirit of the trip, says and asks here, thank you so much for the contribution, who wins the most money from the Ohio State beat by the end of the trip? Well, between these three, let me size it up real quick. Let me handicap this. I'm guessing Kevin would be the slyest at a poker table.
I will not lose any money because I will not be wagering any money. So I could win by default, but I don't think Tony would be wagering either. I generally do very well the first hour or two of a trip. There was a time that I got into Vegas like 5 hours before my friends did, and I was up $2,000 in like 2 hours.
Gosh.
And Vegas always claws it back. They clawed all of it back, and they clawed back the money I took to gamble. So no, I don't know. I don't know who on the beat. I mean, I've certainly played cards with a lot of people on the beat before, but once you put in blackjack and roulette and craps and things like that, those are things that I normally don't play against these guys. I've watched Steve do very well at the casino before. I've also watched him doink off and not hit any numbers at roulette. But there have been some trips where he's hit a number or two.
Yeah, I'm down 40 already. There is a $10 craps table, which those are hard to find. Obviously, it's morning still here. It's 11:21 a.m. out here, so it's kind of sleepy in the casino right now. But yeah, we'll see as this trip goes. I'm going to try and dedicate myself to working more than playing and eating and drinking. So there you go.
I've got about $4 in quarters in my backpack. Can I take any quarters to a slot machine? Is that do I have to go to the old?
Maybe the airport.
So I plan on breaking even unless it's $4 in the hole. I don't even, when we have the Monte Carlo or the Vegas nights at the whichever Cotton Bowl or whatever that we've had the past couple of years, I just give all my fake money to Kevin.
I've done pretty well at those because there's no no consequences. So I'm fine spraying the board at roulette, and I'm fine playing blackjack and going $200 a hand or whatever. Those are things that I would never ever be able to do. I mean, it would take a huge amount of super chats for me to be able to do that. Yes. It's more likely that I'd eat 2 jars of pickles than I would sit down and play a poker tournament. And I'm not eating 2 jars of pickles.
We don't have a lot of high rollers, I think, on our beat. So yeah, it's it'll probably be a little quiet in terms of the gaming, but yeah, we'll see what kind of trouble we can get into.
I was going to say, based on what I just heard here, it sounds like Kevin's the high roller. If he's up $2,000 in a couple hours, then you got to put down some money to get that done.
I played those stupid games where the house edge is like 70%, but if you hit a hand, if you get a full house or something like that, you're making 11 extra money or whatever. So no, and because they decided to take that game away from a lot of casinos, or they've made it worse. So it used to be a lot better 20 years ago.
My forgotten gift from Vegas, because I laid down 7 baseball bets the last time I was there. It was opening weekend of the baseball season, and I left and the games hadn't been played yet. And about a week later, I get an envelope. This is 6-7 years ago. I get an envelope in the mail, and had hit 5 out of 7 and had whatever, a check for like $240. And I was like, oh yeah, I hit these baseball games. Nice.
I'm going to be over at the sports book at 3:45 Pacific today to watch my Reds and the Nationals. So that'll be
Nice.
and get some money down on maybe a couple other games too. We'll see.
Live bet at the kiosk.
Make
you
sure you
go.
get your tokens, since most casinos don't even do if you're betting on sports, you're drinking. I mean, you have to sit there and they do tokens now, which is just so stupid. I mean, they've really taken the joy out of a lot of the gambling type of things. I mean, again, I'm not there looking to get all sauced up either, but it used to be that you could sit there and sit at the bar with the video poker, and you could milk it and get a couple drinks without having to make too many bets. Now they're lights on the back, and if you're not betting enough, it's a red light and they won't give you a drink.
Wow, that's not fan friendly at all.
Las Vegas seems like a racket to me.
Nothing
It is. It
nothing
is a total
is.
racket.
All you have to do is essentially Google Vegas pricing itself out, and unlimited articles will come up.
All right. We've got the audio available if you don't want to look at us, everyone. We post the audio. It's on your favorite audio platform, whatever that might be. We got the Amazon link in the description section of this video and all the videos. So when you shop on Amazon, please use the link that we provide. Helps build the show. And yes, Kevin is correct when it comes to distributing the super chat money. Once YouTube takes its cut and we divide it 4 ways, it goes pretty quickly. So we do appreciate it, Ryan. And if it's in your heart and you've got the few bucks to spare, please consider the contribution, because these guys show up for us each and every week. I'd like to pull up the comment. Well, let's go to this first, because I'll look for this comment that came in that I wanted to address and have you guys do as well. Cleveland.com is picked up for the Big Ten media poll about 15 years ago, and I saw that released today. Penn State is the selection of the media by just a smidge over Ohio State, with 11 coming in for Penn State, 10 first-place votes for the Buckeyes, 2 for Oregon. Illinois slides in at number 4, despite Michigan getting a first-place vote from maybe the Detroit Free Press. What's the guess there? Michigan at number 5. Seems
who
pretty
the hell
status
gave
quo.
Michigan a first-place vote? I mean, like, seriously, I know that we've said it time and time again, or at least I've said it. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, that there are a lot of people that on the Michigan beat that just think that Michigan can't do no wrong. I don't have a problem with certainly the top 4. I don't know if I'm buying Michigan 5. The team that I really like this year that got no love in the Cleveland.com poll is Wisconsin. They're at 12. I think it's either going to be a pretty good Wisconsin team, or it's going to be a pretty putrid Wisconsin team. And of course, people will be like, "Well, you should have bet on putrid," but you don't sell papers by being safe. So I decided to go the other way. But yeah, who in their, I won't even say right mind, who in their mind decided to give Michigan a first place vote?
Take this number to mind before you guys maybe complete your Big Ten picks, if you haven't already. Tony's probably heard me say this 50 times, but anyway, I take account of how many teams increased or decreased their wins from the previous season by 3 or more, because I just consider that substantial. So I started tracking this 5 or 6 years ago. 29 of the 70 in the Power 4 had either a 3-game increase or a 3-game decrease from the previous season, and that includes 6 of 18 from the Big Ten last season compared to 2023. So when you fill that out, you got to figure about a third of this conference usually is going to have that much of a difference. So where to find those teams?
Nebraska. But I think Michigan's schedule, they don't have Penn State and they don't have Oregon. So right away, that's a plus. But I still I can see them losing at Nebraska. I can see them losing at USC. At Michigan State's a rivalry. At Northwestern and at Maryland, they'll win. But like those are legit tough games for a program with an unproven offensive line and an unproven quarterback and missing a lot on defense. So I think I don't expect Michigan to win the Big Ten. I think it's going to come down to the usual suspects of Penn State, Ohio State, and Oregon. And even right now, Oregon. Let's see what Dante Moore does at quarterback and see how Dylan Gabriel like he is. But because they've kind of been up and down with their quarterbacks over the last 10 years or so. So Penn State, they are the gold standard this year, and they are the preeminent and the overwhelming favorite. I've not seen anybody pick Ohio State, like any organization or magazine or expected AP poll, whatever, pick Ohio State. Everybody's picking Penn State. So that many people can't possibly be wrong.
Yeah, the one poll I saw, I think, was 11 votes for Penn State and 10 first place votes for Ohio State. So that is a little bit crazy that it would be that close. But yeah, I think we're in for quite a season. I mean, again, Ohio State's going to have Texas and Penn State coming to the horseshoe. Both those games have the potential to be epic type matchups if the Ohio State team is ready to roll. So we'll see how good of a job Ryan Day and his coaches do of reloading and getting ready for this new season. And obviously they start practice a week from Thursday, I believe, the 31st, I think. So, yeah, it's going to be here before we know it.
So if we had to find 5 teams that were going to have a 3-game difference in record from last year, do we start with Indiana, 11-1, 8-4? And then who else do we go with?
Man, is Illinois going to be as good as they were last year? I think Nebraska could jump up. I don't know. What did Iowa finish?
7-5.
Yeah, so they'd have to win 10 games to make a 3-game jump. They're certainly not going to go the other way.
I'm sorry, they went 8-4.
8-4.
Yeah, they
they're
went
not going to win.
8-5.
They're going to win 11.
Full game.
They're kind of an 8-4 team in perpetuity in my mind. Washington, Wisconsin. Can Washington bounce back after kind of a down year? Obviously, a down year. They played for the national championship the year before. So, yeah, I'm interested to see, if we could predict which way these teams are all going now. I could walk into the sports book down here and hit a lot of overs and unders on win totals, but we debated that last week, I think.
I could go Nebraska, Michigan State, and there's one other that I had in here. Not USC. They got too many tough road games. Washington. So how about Nebraska, Washington, Michigan State, all with more than three wins more than they had last year?
Michigan State goes to 8-4.
Well, are we talking just regular season?
Yeah, it's just a regular season deal.
Yeah, I mean,
so.
Hey, Jonathan Smith worked a miracle at Oregon State, so he could probably do something special here too.
Yeah, but there were less people he had to climb over at out in the Pac-12 than what he would have to do in an 18-team Big Ten.
Yeah,
I think Michigan State's probably more likely to win 7 than 8, but I'll go ahead and throw them in there if we're looking for somebody, because you got to choose somebody, right? And is anybody taking Purdue?
I'm still bullish on Wisconsin. I think Michigan State's going to be like 5-7 this year.
That's kind of where I have Wisconsin. So we're probably, one of us is going to be right, one of us is going to be wrong. Or both of us are going to be wrong.
Or we're going to both be wrong, or something like that. And I don't know. I'm looking forward to the season to kind of just see how some of this stuff, comes out. But when I look at Wisconsin again, I mean, they're going to lose at Bama, they're going to lose at Oregon, they're going to lose at Indiana. Those are my 3 losses. This is going to be hashtag unpopular opinion. I have Wisconsin clipping Ohio State in Madison. because I mean, it's hard to pick an undefeated team, period. So Ohio State's going to have to drop one somewhere. I don't think it's going to be Texas. I don't think it's going to be Michigan. I don't think James Franklin is capable of beating Ohio State without a lot of help. So where's that game going to come from? And I think it's going to come from there. And I think that where that is, that's kind of midway through the season. That's gonna really kind of solidify their season. But then again, they go to Oregon the following week, and they're gonna get thumped at Autzen.
The thing I don't like about Wisconsin's schedule is they play like 8 bowl games in conference, or 8 bowl teams in conference play. But so does Michigan State, because they both play Maryland, and Maryland's probably Maryland's going to be one of the few that don't make the Big Ten. And frankly, I think I had Maryland at like 1-11 this year. So there's another 3 games. So
1-11. Are you serious? They'd have to lose to FAU?
No, actually I had them just think I had them probably 1-8 in conference. That's where I get my 1.
Okay.
Or 0-9. So 3-9 overall.
Oregon could lose 3. They go from 12-0 to 9-3.
That could definitely happen.
Because they've got the whiteout. They've got at Iowa. They've got the at Washington rivalry game.
Got a whiteout and they got their asses smoked. That's the Ohio State theme for all the whiteouts.
Yeah, it is.
I thought I would pass this one along. So last week we discussed the running back room and who would get the most carries and yardage and so forth. And our friend here, Desh Carter, makes this comment. Leading Ohio State in rushing is like leading Washington, D.C. in integrity. I'm not making the connection here. I responded here after glancing through the years and seeing obviously the duo from last year and the likes of J.K. Dobbins and Zeke Elliott over the last 10 to 11 years, that I'm not seeing the lack of running back quality for Ohio State football. It seems to be about as good as anywhere in the nation.
They just want to have their moment to sit there in the sun, especially before they sit there and have to present it and get it like slapped on the table. I mean, it's cute and all. I mean, whatever Douche Carter has to say.
Well, like the I don't know what should there be more 1,000-yard rushers? Is that what it is? Like, I don't understand. You can have. So you look at like Georgia for a while they haven't had a 1,000-yard rusher in a few years. Sometimes when you have 2 or 3 guys running the ball and 1 or 2 of those guys gets injured, you're not going to have a 1,000-yard rusher. But I mean, they had 2 last year in 16 games. That's no big thing. You just have 2 guys averaging 63 yards rushing a game, and you can both get 1,000. But I mean, it seemed to work. I don't know. I think it worked. They won a national championship. So, and I think James Peoples is probably a 1,200-yard back this year.
Yeah, it just comes.
I would agree.
Number of games and just what the split is, and the reality is I mean, if Ohio State doesn't necessarily feel great about its QB depth, I don't think we're going to see Julian Sayin, if he's in fact the starter, call his own number all that often. But Ohio State can't fall into the trap of having a quarterback that it's afraid to push on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. We saw what happened. Throwing forward in that situation is idiotic.
No doubt.
To somewhat segue this running back conversation to the future, Ohio State missed out on 5-star Derek Cooper out of Texas, who chose the Longhorns. Now I'm looking at the 2025 class. Well, the 2025 class had 3 running backs come in. They've only got 1 committed for 2026. This Favor Key, did I pronounce that correctly, out of Delaware?
It's a key.
Do we anticipate anyone else in the running back category?
I'm not. I mean, they certainly would have taken Cooper. They certainly would take Savion Hyder if he wanted to come to Ohio State, but they're not going to force a second back into this class if it's not the right guy. They kind of cooled on some other guys, so I mean, it wasn't. I mean, they could easily have 2 backs in this class if they wanted to, but they really like what with what Aki is about, and yeah, you brought in 3 backs last class, and you're kind of creating a little bit of a bubble. If you have 5 of your backs within like 1 year of each other, that you're just setting yourself up for mass exodus in the transfer portal. So you take 1 here, and then you focus on trying to get 2 in 27.
Yeah, and I'm sure somebody's going to redshirt this year. One of the 3, if not 2 of the 3, will redshirt this year as well to distance themselves from Bo Jackson or whatever.
All right, folks, reminding you that we've got the college football show coming up later today. So we go live Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern time. That's on the main channel. Take your calls, and we're going to run through the ACC and the Big Ten media days and get a check-in from the Texas. What do they call this thing? They've got the various coaches from Texas, all the Texas college football coaches, and Leanne Herring's out there and getting video and interviews from that. So we will have her on as well. All right. I've hit all my topics. Is there anything else going on that we need to hit on?
Just expect a lot of Big Ten talk the rest of the week because Big Ten Network, do they have like 5 hours of coverage planned each day? I think for each week. Steve, Steve's muted.
Begins with the coaches' press conferences, and then you go from there with breakouts with the players. We'll come over to the Big Ten Network set, and they'll interview the players from all 6 teams each day. So yeah, it'll be very eventful. Obviously, the Buckeyes have Sonny Styles, Jeremiah Smith, and Caleb Downs will be here to represent the team. I went to a special skills camp this past Friday where the Ohio State players served as coaches for about 175 special needs youths from Central Ohio. Got to come and got the thrill of being on the football field with the Ohio State team. We got to interview Julian Sayin, Luke Montgomery, talk to him, Edric Houston, and the new defensive end, Bo Atkinson, was there from North Carolina. And everybody that we talked to about Bo Atkinson said that he has assimilated very easily to Ohio State and came right in, kept his mouth shut, put his head down, and went to work. And that's what they wanted to see. And so everyone's excited about what he could bring to the table. He has more career sacks and tackles for loss on the roster for Ohio State than any other player. So it should be interesting to see what he's able to bring. Does Larry Johnson start him or bring him off the bench? I don't know, but he's going to play, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward. We'll have I know we're not necessarily to the point where we're pimping things that we're doing, but I'll have late morning Big Me kickoffs, recorded ones from Las Vegas, either talking about what I think we're going to talk about or kind of wrapping up what we've talked about. Going to dinner with Steve Hellwagon and a couple friends of ours from 11 Warriors. Looking forward to that. Something you can do in Las Vegas. Apparently you can't do anywhere else, and that's called like a steak happy hour, where steaks are like half price. So not all of them, mind you. I'm not getting the tomahawk, but
sign me up.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to that, and just an opportunity to get out and spend some time with Tom and Tony and be able to kind of map out what the next couple months of coverage are going to look like. I mean, it's summer's over. I mean, granted, Steve's saying it's going to be south of 100 there, but I looked and I saw it was going to be like 102. But what's 3 degrees among friends when you're out in the desert or whatever. But looking forward to not looking forward to 5.5-hour flight on Southwest, where even though I'm going to get an aisle seat, I'm sure that I always end up sitting next to you. We've all seen the old historical footage of the two big fat guys riding motorcycles. Those will be the two guys sitting next to me. It always is, never fails.
Tony, I guess you're up.
What are we talking about?
I guess
No,
at this point, our show's pretty much winding down. So whatever you want to pitch.
I know somebody will ask Tony Petiti probably about the letter tomorrow, and he's going to say, I can't talk about it. So that's kind of just almost a wasted question. I am looking forward to being there this week and talking to the coaches about collectives and their purpose and their role, and should they still be around and who has them, because some schools have folded them in and kind of gotten rid of them, and other schools still have them. And why do you have them, and why do you not? So that's something we'll be talking to them about. But yeah, we'll have live shows morning and evening. And I say morning, it's morning out there. I don't know what time it's going to be here, but you can just find all of the stuff at youtube.com/Buckeye Huddle. Subscribe to the channel if you've not yet done so. We will notify you when we're going live. And then, of course, wrapping up a series here of counting down Ohio State's 10 best playmakers. So you can find that at BuckeyeHuddle.com as well.
Kevin, anything else you wanted to hit on?
No, at this point, I don't have any series that I have planned right now. I think it's just going to be a matter of writing what is important, while we're out there. But we'll have a lot of footage, even stuff from non-Ohio State people, over at youtube.com/Buckeye Huddle. I'm the videographer largely on this trip, so good Lord willing, Steve's on the internet already there. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's knocked him off, but what happens when hundreds of us are on the internet, and I'm going to be stuck, doing courtroom sketches of what happened, because I'm not going to be able to upload stuff till I get home.
These guys will be sitting in a room. They're like, I'm getting 30 up and 20 down. And, I'm like, whatever. It's just going slow for me. I know that. So, yeah, we do the best we can to get the videos and everything out. I think it'd be interesting to go around during the breakout and interview all 18 of the coaches and just ask them, do you believe that everyone's going to abide by these rules and not, as I've talked about last few weeks, go under the table to supplement the revenue share money and the bona fide NIL through the clearinghouse money? It seems to me there's to make things right with these recruits that are expecting top dollar, you're going to have to go under the table. And that's where you've started to hear people say, well, I'm just hoping everybody, we're playing by the rules. I'm just hoping everybody's playing by the rules. Because, and Ross Bjork has told his people, it seems like, that we are playing by the rules. We are not going to do anything underhanded. And it's costing Ohio State some recruits we've seen here in the last few weeks. So, of course, they've got almost a full class. Plus, they're going to need to save money for transfer portal people, too, when this season's over. So, what can you really do?
Hopefully, Deshaun Foster got the memo that he will have to address the media, so he's prepared with something to say.
And Los Angeles is great because USC is out here, too. So, yeah.
So, yes, there's that. And Doreen, thank you so much. She has reminded everyone that on behalf of the Voice of College Football, we will have Minnie Hunt on site. Very good. And she'll be reporting for us. All right. You boys have a great time. And Tony and Kevin, of course, a safe trip. And hopefully, this will be the aberration, Kevin, and you sit next to, I don't know, two skinny, attractive women instead. How about that?
Careful, Kevin.
I would be just fine if the middle seat were just empty and I could just sit there and play on my iPad and be, left alone.
All right, everyone, make it on back here next Wednesday. We believe that will be the day. That's why you, of course, subscribe and hit the bell for the notifications. Otherwise, between now and then, check in on Steve, Tony, and Kevin's work, and we'll see you back here next week.
Next Wednesday, we preview camp that starts on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, there we go.